the start of the story, we meet Henry, a man who's almost painfully innocent, working the night shift in a toll booth. His face makes it clear his life has turned completely colorless. When he gets home in the morning, his wife tells him the same thing. "You don't love me anymore. I remember when you did. Things were so different." Their conversation is still going on when someone suddenly pounds on the door. Henry opens it and sees his friend Eddie standing there, and with him is Joe, a man who looks in terrible shape, throwing up again and again. Debbie, Henry's wife, is a nurse, so she brings Joe inside to help him. Eddie then tells Henry that Joe has a basketball game today, and since Joe is sick, Henry should play in his place. Henry tries to refuse, but Eddie forces a jersey on him and drags him along. Henry asks where the game is, and Eddie says it's not far, maybe 15 minutes away. Suddenly, Eddie tells him to stop the car, gets out, and says, "We'll be right back. We're just grabbing some food. You stay here, keep the engine running, okay?" As they walk away, Eddie and two other guys, two men Henry doesn't even know, put on masks. Then they pull out their guns and rush into a bank. Poor Henry still has no idea Eddie and his friends came here to rob the place and that he's been made their getaway driver. Worse, the car they're using is stolen, hot-wired, and already running. A few minutes later, the robbers run out in different directions. A security guard spots Henry, who's wearing the same t-shirt as the robbers, and arrests him immediately. The police try their best to make Henry name his partners, but Henry barely knows anyone besides Eddie. He's so naive, he doesn't even mention Eddie's name, thinking he's still my friend. Because of this, Henry is sentenced to 3 years in prison for attempting to rob the bank. As soon as he enters prison, he meets Max, who talks to him kindly. The next day at breakfast, Max tells Henry that every inmate here once had dreams of their own. Henry's life had already been dull, but then something unfortunate happened, and he ended up here. Max asked him, "What's your dream?" And Henry replied that he had no dream. Hearing that, Max said that not having a dream is the biggest crime, and again asked him what his dream was. Henry repeated the same answer, and Max told him that a life without a dream is useless. 6 months passed. Debbie came to see Henry in prison and told him she had something important to say. She told him she had fallen in love with someone else, but Henry, with a big heart, said it was okay and that he just wanted her to be happy. If she couldn't stay with him, it was fine if she found happiness with someone else. Meanwhile, Max had started to feel like the prison was his home. All the inmates talked about how, when a parole officer once asked Max, "If we let you out, what will you do for us?" Max had replied that he would break into their house, kill their dog, burn their home, and cut the tongue of every living thing inside. Later, someone asked Henry when his review was, and Henry said next month. Another inmate said everyone believed Henry was an honest man. Henry said he hadn't committed any crime, but Max told him that once you've spent time in prison, no matter what you say, everyone outside will think you did something. Soon, Henry was released from prison, and the first thing he did was go to meet Debbie. But when Joe opened the door, Henry was shocked by what he saw, and even more shocked to see Debbie pregnant with his child. Seeing all this, Henry quietly thought about how his life had changed completely. Debbie showed him all his stuff and asked what he was planning to do next, but Henry didn't answer. Then Joe came in and offered Henry a business deal, thanking him for not taking his name in court. But Henry said he didn't even know his name and quietly walked away. Henry later stood outside the same bank where all this trouble had started, but suddenly a car hit him and he fell to the ground. The car was being driven by a woman named Julie. She yelled at Henry, then asked if he was okay. A bank guard also came over and told her to call an ambulance, but Henry refused. The guard helped him to a nearby cafe, and Julie followed them inside. Henry told Julie he thought he had seen her somewhere before, but Julie snapped that he should watch the road while walking and then left. When Henry went to the bathroom, he noticed an old newspaper clipping on the wall. The 80-year-old article talked about a bank robbery that had been done using an underground tunnel connected to a theater behind the bank, and the tunnel passed directly under the vault. After reading this, Henry went straight to the prison to meet Max and told him he had finally found his dream. He said robbing the bank that got him arrested was now his dream. If he had to serve time, he might as well commit the crime for real. Max didn't understand, so Henry asked if he would help him rob the bank. Max asked if he even had a plan, or if he was just talking nonsense, but Henry said not to worry, he had a top-class plan. Later, Henry went to the theater where Julie was rehearsing. Her director yelled at her, saying she wasn't doing the scene right, so she stormed off to get coffee. As she left, she asked Henry if he was following her. Henry denied it, and walked after her to the coffee shop. While drinking coffee, Henry complimented Julie's acting, and Julie thanked him for not filing a complaint about the accident. Meanwhile, in prison, Max applied for parole and got approved after answering a few questions the way Henry had coached him. When Henry picked him up, Max asked where his car was, and Henry admitted he didn't have one. He had walked there. Max got angry, saying he had gotten out of prison for a crazy person. But when Henry explained the plan, Max was shocked and said Henry wanted to copy the exact same robbery from 80 years ago and asked if Henry had guns. Henry said no because he didn't want to hurt anyone, and Max sarcastically called him Mother Teresa. Max also said the bank might have moved the vault since the old robbery, so they needed to confirm it. They went to the bank, and the guard watched them closely as they walked in. Max cleverly talked to the assistant manager and confirmed that the vault had never been moved since the bank was built. He did it so smoothly that the manager never suspected anything, but the guard still kept an eye on them. Both of them then went to the theater to check the tunnel. Julia was shocked to see Henry there again, and this time, Max was with him. But Max quickly said, "When I was young, I performed in a lot of plays here. I brought Henry to show him around. I hope you don't mind if I take a look inside the theater." While walking in, Julia asked Max which plays he had done, and Max instantly dropped Shakespeare's name. He then said he had many memories in this theater, so he wanted to explore every corner, and he got permission. As soon as Max left, Julia asked Henry, "Is he your father?" Henry replied, No, just a good friend." On the other side, a theater worker was showing Max around and took him near the door connected to the tunnel, and Max started examining it. Meanwhile, Julia asked Henry, "What do you do?" And Henry honestly said, "I was recently released from prison. Right now, I don't do anything." Julia was shocked and asked, "Why were you in prison? Did you commit a murder or something?" Henry said, "It's a long story. I'll tell you some other time." After that, they planned to meet for dinner in the evening. When Henry got home, Max told him the tunnel passed through a wall of the green room, so they needed to take control of that green room at any cost. But Henry was focused on getting ready for his date with Julia, and he asked Max how he looked. Max laughed and said, "You look the same as always. Go enjoy your date. We'll plan later." During the date, Julia told Henry she wanted to become a big actress, someone everyone knows. Henry then told her the whole truth about how he ended up in prison and how he now actually wanted to rob that bank. Julia was shocked hearing his plan, but she had started liking Henry's company. They went home, and their closeness grew even more. The next morning, Henry and Julia went to Max's place, but Max was not happy seeing Julia. Henry told him, "Relax, she's working with us." Max then pulled Henry aside and snapped at him, asking why he told her the entire plan. A little later, while eating, Julia asked Max what he was in prison for, and Max said he had committed several murders. Julia asked if he wasn't afraid of getting caught after so many murders, and Max said he actually liked going to prison. It was his favorite place. While heading back to the theater, Henry came up with an idea to hold auditions there so they could spend more time inside. But a little later, Max got an even better idea. They should replace the actor who owned the green room and give Henry that role so they could keep digging quietly without anyone knowing. Henry said he didn't know anything about acting, but Max hyped him up, saying, "Look at yourself. You're a natural actor. No one can do it better than you. And anyway, it's the lead role." Soon after, the actor himself quit the play, saying he got a big movie offer. But in reality, Max had tricked him. When Julia found out, she got extremely angry. Henry had given the audition, got selected, and now their plan was becoming easier to pull off. But within a day or two, they realized that digging this tunnel wasn't a job for just two people, so they decided to bring Joe into it. After a lot of convincing, Joe finally agreed. But the moment he saw the tunnel, he said, "Why do all this? Just take a gun and rob the place." Max snapped back, saying they weren't going to pull off a stupid robbery like he would. Slowly, the work continued. And along with the heist, Henry stayed dedicated to his theater role. He didn't just want money anymore. He wanted something new in life. One night, while he was heading home after work, the same bank guard who had arrested him earlier stopped him. The officer said he had seen Henry several times behind the bank heading toward the theater, and he wasn't going to let anything suspicious happen again. Henry told him to come along, drove him to a quiet place, and asked what he really wanted. Frank then revealed that once a month, a truck visited their partnered banks, collecting all the currency and storing it in the vault when it held more than $10 million. Only an idiot would try to rob the bank at any other time. He offered to help Henry from the inside by handling the alarm system. The next day at the theater, during Julie's crying scene, the director told her she had never loved anyone and never had her heart broken, and without that feeling, she would never become a great actress. During the break, Julie went to the bathroom and started crying. Henry asked if she was okay, and she broke down, saying she had never loved anyone but still wanted to become an actress. Henry told her she did love someone, him. She just didn't realize it yet, and he believed she would become a great actress. They then leaned in and kissed. That night, while Max and Henry were planning the heist, there was a knock on the door. Henry opened it and saw Joe and Eddie standing there, with Joe looking like he had been beaten up. Eddie said Joe had told him everything and now he wanted in on the plan. But Max instantly disliked Eddie and asked who this clown even was. Eddie insisted he knew everything and that now they had no choice but to include him. Max asked again who he was, but Eddie snapped back, calling Max an old man. Max got angry and moved toward Eddie to hit him, but Henry stopped them. The next day, when Max and Henry reached the theater, they learned their show would start in just a few days, which stressed them out even more. Henry said he didn't think they could pull off the robbery now. The truth was that he had fallen in love with Julie, and after the heist, they would have to run away. But he didn't want to leave her anymore. Henry tried to back out, but Max grabbed him and said, "You pulled me out of prison to help you, and now you're quitting? I've spent my whole life just talking big. I was locked up for years, and now that I'm out, I'm definitely doing something before I go back." Later that night, Henry and Julie met again. Henry told her that they had to rob the bank on the first day of the show, and then he would escape to California. He said she also had to go to Hollywood for her acting career, and asked if she would meet him there. Hearing this, Julie exploded with anger and said, "If you were going to leave, then why make me believe in love? You only used me to get inside the theater. I won't meet you anywhere. It's my fault for falling in love with a thief." Soon, the day of the show and the robbery arrived. The play's director told all the actors that this was their moment, and they had 10 minutes left to make their mark. At the same time, the cash truck arrived at the bank exactly as the cop had described. Henry kept acting on stage and slipped away at the right moment to help his team. Their plan worked perfectly. First, they broke through the brick wall using a tool, then used a heavy welding machine to cut the steel of the vault and make a large opening. Max had already cut the wire after getting the signal from the cop, so the alarm didn't go off. But suddenly, Eddie pointed a gun at Max and told him to leave quietly. Eddie ordered Joe to load all the money into the vehicle. Joe didn't like Eddie's betrayal and told him this wasn't right. Then Henry arrived, and Eddie tried to scare him too, even hitting Max with a gun and knocking him down while Joe kept begging him to stop. Max fought back, grabbed Eddie's gun, and started beating him. During the struggle, a gunshot went off and the bullet grazed Henry's leg. Meanwhile, Henry's scene in the play was about to start, so he limped out as fast as he could. After beating Eddie badly, Max tied up his hands, legs, and mouth. A little later, Henry, Max, and Joe escaped with all the money. Suddenly, Henry told them to stop the car. Max and Joe didn't understand why, but they stopped anyway. Henry told them he would meet them later and ran off. When Joe asked where he went, Max said, "Forget him, just drive." Henry ran back to the theater. Julie was performing on stage when Henry limped onto it. He told Julie he couldn't leave her, that he truly loved her, and couldn't live without her. The play's story had a similar moment happening at the same time, so the audience thought it was all part of the performance and waited for Julie's answer. The director dimmed the lights and urged Julie to say yes. Julie finally understood that Henry truly loved her, and though she didn't say yes out loud, her expression made everything clear.